Over the past 3 seasons, the Rockets have been one of the worst teams in the entire NBA. It was a stark difference from the James Harden era in Houston, as in his 8 years there, the team made the playoffs every single year. But after trading James away, the team prioritized gathering young talent, which meant the product on the floor wasn't very good. Under coach Stephen Silas, the team often looked more like an AAU team than an NBA team, relying on isolation and raw talent. However, things are about to change. It was rumored entering this offseason that Rockets owner Tilman Fertitta was pressuring the team to make the playoffs in 2024. It seems as if the front office has obliged because they did a lot of things to speed up the timeline this offseason. It started with the firing of Coach Silas and replacing him with Ime Udoka, who coached the Celtics to the finals in his first year in 2022. They also spent big in free agency. It started with giving a 3-year, $128 million contract to former Raptors point guard and one-time All-Star Fred VanVleet. Then they turned around and gave a 4-year, $86 million deal to Dillon Brooks. A lot of people clowned both of these deals at the time, but Brooks just won Best Defender in the FIBA World Cup and scored 39 points to rip the bronze medal away from Team USA, so maybe the contract wasn't so bad after all. To me, they were one of the biggest winners of the offseason, especially when you factor in their draft. After originally considering Villanova forward Cam Whitmore at number 4 overall, they decided to take guard Amen Thomspon out of Overtime Elite. Then Whitmore fell all the way to 20 due to medical and interview concerns, which was ridiculous, and the Rockets took him there. So they got 2 prospects worthy of top 5 picks. Whitmore immediately proved them right as well, winning Summer League MVP in his debut Summer League. When you add this great offseason to an already really impressive young core, with Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, and Kevin Porter Jr., you start to realize just how talented this team is. The potential and upside with this group is just hard to believe. The Houston Rockets are going to be crazy this season. Now let's take a deeper look at why. Before we get into the extremely entertaining group in Southeast Texas, if you enjoy my content and watch a few videos of mine, think about subscribing. 91% of my viewers are actually not subscribed, so if you watched me before and enjoy the content, drop a sub and comment down below. It really helps the channel. Despite the good free agency, a great new head coach, and a promising young core, many still don't believe in the Rockets. In terms of betting, Houston has the 5th lowest win total in the league at 31.5 games. I get that the Western Conference is very talented from top to bottom, and that it's hard to trust a team that's been as bad as they were over the past 3 years, but I believe the team is better than that. Despite being the best passer on the team and arguably the most talented player, Alperen Sengun was utilized horribly by Stephen Silas, and didn't get nearly as many touches as he deserved. Udoka unleashing him this season alone will lead to a few more wins. On top of that, if we're being honest, the Rockets weren't exactly trying to win. They would randomly win games against very good teams, and then look completely discombobulated in others. I believe this was somewhat intentional, and it hints that the team is better than it was giving off. I'm not saying the Rockets will be the Kings of last year and jump up to the 3rd seed in the West, but will they be in the play-in race? Absolutely. But that relies on the players, so let's take a look at the impact guys for the Rockets. When starting with Houston, we should probably talk about the new highest paid player on the team. That would be point guard Fred VanVleet. Over the past 3 seasons, he's averaged about 20 points and 4 rebounds per game. Last season, he averaged a career-high 7.2 assists per game. He's not the most efficient player ever, but he's going to get his points. His scoring average could take a jump this year as well, and be closer to 23 or even 25 points per game. He was an NBA champion in 2019, and his winning pedigree could help the culture in Houston. Then we should move into their other free agent signing, Dillon Brooks. The former Memphis Grizzly emerged as the biggest villain in the league last season, almost completely by his own creation. He plays dirty, talks trash, and in his own words, he pokes bears. However, after trash-talking LeBron and then getting humiliated by the Lakers, it was reported the Grizzlies would not bring him back under any circumstances. But Dillon is on a redemption tour this summer. It started with a massive $20 million annually contract given to him by the Rockets. Many made fun of Houston for this, but he has backed it up with a very impressive 2023 FIBA World Cup. He averaged 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists per game for Team Canada while shooting over 44% from 3. He topped it off with a 39-point masterclass against Team USA on Sunday, sending the Americans home without a medal. After locking up Luka Doncic and Slovenia in the quarterfinal, he claimed that he was the best perimeter defender in the NBA and the entire world. Only a few days later, he was named the best defender in the 2023 FIBA World Cup. So his performance proved he deserved his contract and hints at a potential jump next season with more opportunity. Honestly, he always deserved the contract. He made all defense last season for a reason. The Rockets were led in scoring last year by then 20-year-old guard Jalen Green. He's a dynamic scorer and one of the most overhated players in the league. People have called him a brick chucker and a social media hooper. However, he's one of the most talented young players in the league, and when lined up with players like Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell, Zach LaVine, and Devin Booker at this point in their careers, his numbers are similar if not better. Last season, Green averaged 22 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. He could make an all-star leap this season. He will need to improve his efficiency, but that can just take some time for some high-volume scoring guards. Despite not being the leading scorer, I'd argue that Alperen Sengun was the team's best player last season. He's one of the most gifted young centers in the league, and the fact that the Rockets got him and Jalen Green in the same draft is wild. Sengun fits the same mold as guys like Nikola Jokic and Domantas Sabonis, as extremely gifted offensive big men who can pass like guards. Last season, he averaged 14 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists per game, with an effective field goal percentage of 57%. Despite being a gifted passer, his usage rate was only 21%, even lower than his rookie season. Ime Udoka will place the ball in his hands more often. He also reportedly grew to 6'11" this offseason and was impressive in Olympic qualifier games with Turkey. Taken with the number 3 overall pick in 2022, Jabari Smith Jr. was believed to be an elite 3-and-D power forward. He was very good defensively as a rookie, but his offense took some time to come around. The best 2 months of Jabari's rookie season happened to be the last 2. In March, he averaged 15 points per game and shot 35% from 3. Then in April, he averaged 16 points on 40% from 3. He was called a bust early in the season, but improved steadily as the season went along. He then made it clear he's continued to improve since the season ended. In 2 games in the Las Vegas Summer League this summer, Jabari averaged 36 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. He was the best player that touched the court in Vegas and just a level above the competition. He will start for the Rockets again this season, and I wholeheartedly expect him to take a step forward. Tari Eason also really impressed in his second summer league, averaging 23 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks per game. He's an insane athlete with a ridiculous upside. He plays both ends of the floor very well and is honestly a joy to watch. I'd say he's a strong candidate to be the 6th man for Houston. I've gone long enough without bringing up last year's second leading scorer in guard Kevin Porter Jr. Despite coming into the league as a shooting guard, the Rockets attempted to develop him into a point guard. Some called it a failed experiment, but he was actually pretty good. Last season, he averaged 19 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds per game. If he didn't deal with a midseason injury, he likely would have averaged 20 plus. He doesn't get appreciated enough for how good he is at just 23 years old. However, he will be demoted to a backup guard behind VanVleet and Green. Then we should talk about the 2 rookies. It's hard to tell exactly what roles they'll play due to all the talent brought in and young talent already here. Amen Thomspon went 4th overall this year and is a tall point guard at 6'7". He's one of the best athletes in the league right now and has a great finishing package around the rim. He has all-star upside. They then took Cam Whitmore at number 20 overall. He proved the doubters wrong at Summer League, averaging 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 3.5 steals per game. He won Summer League MVP. He has an NBA-ready body and also has all-star upside. In terms of lineup, the starters should be VanVleet, Green, Brooks, Smith, and Sengun. Then the second unit should be Kevin Porter Jr., Thompson, Whitmore, Eason, and Jock Landale. Then guys like Jayshawn Tate and Jeff Green should get minutes as well. So what should we expect from the Rockets in 2024? On the low end, they could finish as a bottom 3 team in the West and miss the play-in. Even that outcome would have positive player development though. On the high end, they could go through the play-in tournament and make the playoffs for the first time since James Harden left. They could have an all-star, but it's hard to tell exactly who that would be. Green, Sengun, and Jabari could all take leaps to that level, or it could be a previous all-star in VanVleet. This team will be much better organized and tougher defensively under Ime Udoka. They'll be improved from the last 3 years. But whether they're a playoff team or not, they're going to be an incredibly fun watch. Thanks for watching. I'm Herm. Have a good one.